All right. Given that the NFL season is just around the corner, I thought it'd be a good idea if today I gave y'all some of my bold predictions for this upcoming NFL season. Some of these predictions will have me looking very smart, while others will have me looking very dumb. Let's hope it's the smart part, but these are bold predictions, so it's more likely than not that I end up looking stupid, but not really stupid because they're bold. Yes, I'm defending myself before I even give you these predictions because some of these, in my opinion, are extremely bold, but let's get into them. All right, my first bold prediction is that the Kansas City Chiefs will not repeat as AFC champions. I know I did not say Super Bowl champions. My bold prediction is that they don't even make it to the Super Bowl. And I know this is a kind of a wild take to make since really over the past 5 years, the AFC has gone through Arrowhead. To get to the Super Bowl, you have to go through Arrowhead. You have to go through Patrick Mahomes. And I know they haven't made the Super Bowl every single year, but they've always been there at the end. And I believe this year, they do not make the Super Bowl. I do not think they make the Super Bowl this year because of these three things. One, the AFC is stacked. Unlike past years, there are a lot of teams that could really win a Super Bowl coming out the AFC. I mean, you have the whole AFC East that can all make the playoffs. And three of those teams are bona fide Super Bowl contenders in the Jets, Dolphins, and of course the Bills. Then you have the Patriots, who aren't really a Super Bowl contender, but with that defense and with Bill Belichick and with finally having a real offensive coordinator, they can definitely be a threat. Then you have the AFC North, where you have the Ravens and Bengals, where you kind of know what to expect from them. They're going to be in the mix. They're going to be in the running. They both have quarterbacks that can go toe-to-toe with Patrick Mahomes any day of the week. Then you have the Steelers, who you know are going to be above 500, but they have a ton of talent. Even though they are very young offensively, if they put it together, that's scary. And the Browns, who have all the talent in the world, but are just such a wild card because they're the Browns. They're very inconsistent. One game they look great, the next minute they don't. A lot of that just hinges on Deshaun Watson. But those two divisions in and of itself can give the Chiefs a lot of trouble. That's not even thinking about their own division, which has, what if the Chargers can put it together? What if Sean Payton finally gets Russell Wilson out of this slump and they can finally help that defense out in Denver, which was great last year and gave Patrick Mahomes some trouble in the games where they played against them last year? Then you have Jacksonville, who gave the Chiefs a really, really good fight last season in Arrowhead. Even though Patrick Mahomes did get hurt and did basically play with one leg, they fought him. They fought. They fought and put themselves in a position where they could have won the game. If you don't have a few drop passes, maybe Jacksonville wins that game. Maybe. And they also have gotten better, given that they will now have Calvin Ridley at their disposal, another weapon to help Trevor Lawrence out. My second reason is it's just hard, man. It's hard to repeat. Even when you have Patrick Mahomes, it's hard. Football is hard. We never know what's going to happen. It's so unpredictable. Nothing goes as planned in football. It rarely does, honestly. Coming from a football player, yeah, it rarely ever does. Game plan, throw it out the window halfway through the first quarter, because teams are going to throw so many different things at you. Shoot, you may just get hurt. You may just get banged up. You may have somebody not play as good as they need to be or as you expect them to be. Now, my next reason why they could not make the Super Bowl is Chris Jones. I do believe that Chris Jones will suit up for the Chiefs sometime this season to play football. I do not believe that he will play that many snaps the first half of the season. I do not. I think he's willing to hold out till around mid-season, and if that's the case, there's going to be a lot of games that they lose based on the fact that Chris Jones is not there. He is that good of a player, and he's that impactful to this defense that is really, really young and could really use his pass rushing and run stopping ability. Chris Jones helps everybody in that defense. He helps his fellow pass rushers because he takes double teams. He helps the run game because he just absorbs blockers and gets so much good penetration from the inside. He helps your linebackers because he keeps blockers from getting to the second level because they're so occupied with him. And then he also helps the secondary because he gets pressure. Getting pressure means you have to cover for less amount of time. That's just a fact. And not having him early may affect their ability to get home field advantage throughout the playoffs, and that could affect their ability to make to the Super Bowl. I do think this is extremely bold, but I would not be surprised if this happens because I am predicting it. Now on to my next prediction, which maybe a little bit more bold, depending on how you look at it. I predict, my bold prediction is that the Atlanta Falcons win a home playoff game. With me predicting that they will win a home playoff game, that means they're going to win their division. And yes, I can definitely see them winning this division. This division is not good. When you look up easiest schedules in the NFL, the top 4 teams are all in the NFC South. That should tell you how bad that division is. Well, lucky for the Falcons, they had the second easiest schedule in football. Now, how much of that is a good thing, or does it cancel itself out because they play in that division and because they're one of the teams that are on other people's most easiest schedules? I don't know. But they do have an extremely easy schedule given their division, and they do have the type of offense that will give people fits. They love to run the ball and have a great running game. Last year, they had a top 10 offensive line that ranked at, 9th last year. They have a coach in Arthur Smith that is not afraid and loves to run the ball. He will run the air out the football. He will not stop. He will not get enamored with the pass game and say, oh, I have to throw the ball this many times. No. If the run game's working, he's going to run the ball. And he also has the backs to do it. He has a really, really good young running back tandem down there in the ATL. You have Bijan Robinson, who I can't talk much about. I've already talked so much about him in my All-Pro video. We know how special he is. One of the best pure running back prospects to come out of college to Saquon Barkley, and that is saying a lot. Right beside him, you have Tyler Algier, who was a rookie last year that rushed for well over 1,000 yards. And right now, I mean, not right now, but last time I checked, Bijan was a third string for them. And that does not surprise me. That doesn't make me mad. That doesn't confuse me because they have 2 really good running backs. I'm not even counting in Cordell Patterson, even though me personally, I put him in more of the weapon category because you can't put him everywhere. But speaking of weapons, this team has a lot of versatile weapons. I mean, Bijan Robinson can line up anywhere. Tyler Algier is a really good running back. Cordell Patterson can literally play receiver and running back. You have Kyle Pitts, who is a matchup nightmare, and Drake London is also. They have the type of versatile offensive weapons that can give teams a lot of trouble. And they also have the makings of what should be a pretty good defense. They have the talent. They have the names. They just have to put it together. I mean, if you just look at some of the names of this defense, Grady Jarrett, Calais Campbell, even though I know he's getting up there, A.J. Terrell, one of the better young corners in the game, and Jesse Bates is a great signing for them and will really help them on the back end. This is why I think they have a chance to win a home playoff game. It's kind of wild, it's kind of crazy, but if it happens, you're going to say, I'm a genius. And maybe I am, who knows. Now, my next prediction may be not as crazy when you really think about it. It's that the Washington football team, the Washington Commanders will have a top 5 offense. I believe the Washington Commanders can have at the least a top 10 offense. I can definitely see them having the top 5 offense. They have the weapons. They have a top 3. They have a receiving room that is very underrated in my opinion. You have probably the most underrated receiver in football in Terry McLaurin. Then behind him you have a second-year receiver that was hurt for most of his rookie year, so we kind of forgot how good he was at the beginning of the season. That is Jahan Dotson. And then a versatile playmaker in Curtis Samuel. Also, you have running backs that complement each other very well. You have Brian Robinson, who can be your power, hit you in the face type of back that also survived. I forget how many gunshots he survived, but, he a dog for that. Then you have Antonio Gibson, who is more of, the third down, big play, big threat running back. You have a lot of weapons at your disposal. You also have Eric Bieniemy as your offensive coordinator. And, he has toys. He has toys to play with. He has weapons. So let's see what he will do. And also, a big part of this prediction is hinging upon Sam Howell and how good I think he should be. In the preseason, he's shown a lot of really good flashes, and I think he can be a pretty good quarterback. And given the weaponry he has, and also the fact that they have a defense that's going to give them a ton of chances to go down there and score. They have a really good defense, which helps your offense immensely because they're going to get the ball back to you. You're going to get a lot more possessions just based off the fact you have a good defense. And I believe Sam Howell can be a good enough quarterback to where this team's offense is clicking. It's clicking. And I ain't going to lie. It just all hinges upon how good Sam Howell can be. And I'm honestly not going to lie. I'm pretty high on him. I think he can have a really, really good year for this team. And with that being said, they can be a top 5 offense, no doubt, in my mind. All right, next up is probably the craziest one. It's the craziest one. you'll see. It's that the Buffalo Bills do not make the playoffs. This prediction is extremely bold because I could definitely see me being dead wrong and the Bills win the Super Bowl. But there's also a possibility that I see them not even sniffing, I don't want to say not even sniffing the playoffs, just not making the playoffs. One reason is the AFC is loaded with a lot of talent, and so is their division. You had the Jets, you had the Patriots, you had the Dolphins, all teams that are extremely good and extremely talented, especially on the defensive side. They have the Dolphins that they can match the Bills offensively. You have Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. You have speed. They have the weapons to do it. And if Tua's healthy, they can be a problem. And the Jets, if Aaron Rodgers can just be Aaron Rodgers or just be better than Zach Wilson and Mike White, then the Jets are a very, very scary team. Now, let's talk about this team in and of itself, because I do not think the only reason they don't make the playoffs is because the teams around them are good. There has to be some problems within themselves. And I think it's the defense. This defense is kind of getting old. I mean, if you really think about this, team's getting old. They've had a window for like the past 2 years. And honestly, in football, that's all you get. So they're lucky to still be afloat at this point, in my opinion, but their defense is old. And they lost Tremaine Edmonds. And Tremaine Edmonds was a big part last year of what they wanted to do. Having him and Matt Milano, I'm probably saying his name wrong, but he's a really good linebacker, Matt Milano. Having them two agile linebackers provided you with so much versatility to where you didn't have to take them out if you wanted to, stop the pass. They could cover tight ends and even some slot receivers. Having them in there gave you so much versatility to really play just your defense and stick with it. Now you still have Matt Milano, but you're losing Tremaine Edmonds, who played a huge role in that. I mean, he was so versatile and so important for them, and he's going to do the same thing with the Bears, and he is a huge loss. And also, this pass rush is not proven. We do not know when Von Miller is going to play football with them at this point. Maybe I'm wrong, but at this point we don't. And they have talent in theory. They have a lot of young pieces that could be something. I mean, Ed Oliver, he's been pretty good. Greg Russo, AJ Epineza, I can never say his name right. AJ Epineza, these dudes are extremely young and have the talent, but they have yet to prove it to me. So there are a lot of question marks about this defense. And let's say we have another scenario where Josh Allen keeps turning the ball over. Then they're going to be in trouble because, like I said, that division is good. The AFC is good. You're going to lose a lot of those games. And the Bills play an extremely tough schedule because they are the Bills. So you can't just be giving the ball up willy-nilly, Josh Allen. I still believe in him, but if he's having those turnover issues, if this defense is not what we expect them to be, I can definitely see a world. I could see a world where they miss the playoffs. I could be dead wrong, but I think it's at least a possibility. I feel like come on, it's a thought. Next up, this is kind of a homer pick because I am a huge Seahawks fan, but Geno Smith can lead the league in passing. I think this is actually pretty likely given the amount of weapons he has at his disposal. The Seahawks sneakily have one of the best skill position units when it comes to all of them combined in the league. And just even if you're just looking at receiver, you have DK, you have Tyler Lockett, you have Jackson Smith, who to me was the best receiver in the draft. Is this a number homer thing? Not really, even though I am an Ohio State fan, but Jackson Smith is like that. And now you have him where he's not going to get doubled. He's going to see a lot of single coverage because DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett are killers too. You're probably going to double or maybe bracket DK. You're going to see a lot of Tyler and Jackson Smith in the slot being able to abuse safeties and slot corners. And I think Geno Smith will light it up with them. That's not even considering the tight end room where you have Noah Fant, you have Willie Disley, who are really good tight ends, really good receiving threats. And then even out of the backfield, you have Zach Charbonnet, I can't say his name right, the rookie out of UCLA, who was at Michigan first, who is a really good running back. Then you also have Kenneth Walker, who can maybe do some things for you out the backfield in the pass game. Even though he hasn't really shown that, that is definitely a possibility. They have so many weapons. I could definitely see Geno slinging that thing around. And if he does, it'll be kind of very hilarious that they're letting Geno sling that thing around and they weren't really letting Russ to that extent. It's kind of funny. But I think that's definitely a possibility. So these are my bold predictions for the upcoming NFL season. Some of these will be right. Most of these will be wrong. Hopefully y'all don't think I'm dumb. Because just remember, these are bold predictions. So I'm probably wrong on most of these. Just remember that. But, thank y'all for watching again. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And let me know in the comments what are some bold predictions you yourself have for this upcoming year. And I love y'all. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Peace.